Spoiler week for the new Universes Beyond Commander decks has started, and it's going to be bringing us 4 new 100-card decks as well as a 3-part drop distributed through Secret Lair. This set of cards is going to be centered around the wildly popular Warhammer 40k universe, with each of the decks representing a singular faction, as well as the drops representing other factions and other Games Workshop licenses. This inevitably caught my eye. I've been on the periphery of the 40k community for about 2 years now, and have been playing Commander for even longer. However, the release has come with some criticism from the greater Magic community for dissolving some of the creative integrity of the world. I completely get this. I love MTG flavor. I remember when I got into Magic being handed a copy of the Knights half of Knights vs. Dragons and spending countless hours looking at the vast history of the game. Now, I got in during Scar's Block, but quickly became obsessed with Urza, Gerard, the Weatherlight Saga, Wrath, Yavimaya, and Dominaria, all the old school stuff. And while I like MTG flavor, both the old and the new, I don't think the existence of these unique game pieces, whether it be 40k, Doctor Who, Godzilla skins, or any future shenanigans, they don't destroy the multi-decade fabric of flavor. There's a different, less touched on issue that is indicative of a much greater problem. Now, when I first looked at all of the Magic I'd missed, I came across the card Mo. This blew my mind. I knew it would be perfect for my deck, and I quickly went to look it up online, only to find it was at the time a couple of $100s far out of my budget, which in retrospect would have been a steal if only I had sold my kidneys sophomore year of high school. That's when I first learned about the reserve list, cards I had missed due to being a child that would never be reprinted. This is a promise Wizards effectively made to the player base after the poor reception to the Chronicles reprints from the very popular Legends series. It's a pretty decent chunk of cards from the first couple of years of Magic. Now it has been changed with a few edits, either removing some cards or adding clauses that they can't reprint them in certain ways, but otherwise it has been remaining static ever since the re-release of Dual Decks Phyrexia vs. the Coalition. The concept of the reserve list has been dissected to death, but a major end result of the issue was to replace cards where they could. A good example being Magus of the Moat for replicating effects, or the recent Hazezon retrain for doing a similar effect to a reserve list card. Now, if we're considering that some of these more unique Universes Beyond cards can't necessarily easily be reprinted in a similar way to the reserve list, a key consideration is that the reserve list is decades old and full of a lot of outdated bulk. There is a smaller number of high-powered cards on the reserve list, and over the years WotC has printed analogs for the vast majority that are not within a reasonable price point. However, Universes Beyond features updated card design and with that updated power level, and it's clear in cards like the new Marneus Calgar, Old One Eye, and Abaddon the Despoiler. And these cards are inherently difficult to reprint, as they cannot come back in standard Magic sets without reskins. Furthermore, in the case of cards like the Space Marines, they have the Astartes creature type, which does not exist in traditional Magic. A similar issue existed with the Michonne card and her Walker tokens. So any player who cannot get the new Commander decks for 40k or one of the drops will be left behind with unique game pieces drifting away in availability, which only feels predatory. It becomes even worse when you consider someone may be FOMO'd into getting Beyond cards for franchises they do not enjoy just because of the effects. I personally do not care for Walking Dead, but Rick and Negan fill design niches that I would love to play. And this is only poised to continue with the future slated to be full of Universes Beyond Commander decks, full sets, and Secret Lairs. MTG has always been a game with a buy-in, but if I miss a card's release, I know there's a chance they could come back, either in a main set or a supplemental product. But with these, it feels ever more limited, and while proxying is a solution, players should be allowed to have pieces available in some form. Anecdotally, the release is already having issues with my local game stores unable to get enough copies and Amazon outright canceling pre-orders. And while I'm coming at this primarily from the perspective of a Commander player, Universes Beyond cards can have implications in Legacy where they are legal. Rick is a very good example of this. And when you're talking about a format that already has a pretty steep buy-in, there is no reason to introduce cards that could continue to climb in price with both time and scarcity. The idea behind Universes Beyond makes sense. It's a draw to bring fans of other franchises into MTG. Once again, in my own experience, I know many Godzilla fans who never played a TCG in their life who were coming to stores to buy Ikoria collector boosters. This also poses the issue that Magic players will have even more competition finding these cards as they compete with entire other fanbases. And over time, it's only going to get worse, as things like the list can only solve so much reprint equity. There was a recent Pleasant Kenobi tweet where he admonished the idea of a Rule Zero discussion around these cards, and while I generally enjoy his content and like how he cares about the average player, I can't agree with his take on the matter. It's not just a discussion of legality in the formats, it's about good faith design on the part of WotC. This is part of the reason why every time I see a sarcastic tweet about playing a Rick Sanchez, Chun-Li, Battle Bus deck, I believe that the true issue is being missed. I can only hope moving forward some of these issues are solved. Do you enjoy Universes Beyond as a whole? Are you buying the upcoming Commander decks? Please let me know below. For all my Magic players out there, this is Tepid. Stay safe and have a wonderful day.